All right, so let's start here with new leads. When a new lead comes in, what are the potential outcomes?
The outcomes is that you can't get a hold of them.
Okay. So uncontacted. And then it goes down here to LQ.
Correct.
Or HQ. What are the other ones?
You do contact them.
Okay. And what happens in that contact?
You have a conversation.
Okay. And what happens in that conversation? Three that conversation. What are they?
So they turn into like a nurture.
Okay. Follow-ups. FUs. Good. What other ones?
Appointment set.
Say that one more time.
Appointment set.
And what's the final one?
I don't know why I'm drawing a blank here. Go ahead.
Not interested.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, not interested.
Right. So
Gotcha.
basically, it's just a flow system. New comes in, it goes to one of those four places. Make sense?
Correct.
All right. Now, one second. I'm gonna spot on this desk that's messing with my mouse. It's like sticky stuff from a sticker. I guess gotta wipe it up.
Just so you know too, I don't know if it's helpful for you. I know you're already started with Miro.com, but I have the PDFs from the Hatch site. If you
Good.
wanted to use those.
Yeah, we'll keep using this. It just allows me to draw it on it. All right, so now we're good to go. All right, uncontacted goes here. LQ and HQ. When you call LQ and HQ, what are the potential outcomes?
What do you mean, like low quality? I think was it low quality 1, low quality 2?
Nope. When you call your LQ leads, what can potentially happen? What are the 4 different things that can happen?
When you call them, they don't answer.
Good. So what happens if they don't answer?
You got to set up a follow-up.
Potentially, they stay in LQ, right?
Right.
Okay. What are the other things that could happen?
They do answer.
And
a conversation happens. And you have to make a decision whether they're ready to go or if they still need to be nurtured.
Okay, what if they need to be nurtured?
If they need to be nurtured,
goes in your follow-ups.
Yep, goes in your follow-ups, and you would set some kind of A, B, C, or D designation on it.
Okay, we'll come back to that.
Okay.
What's the other thing can happen in that conversation? 2 other things.
They can say, "Stop calling me."
Not interested.
Right.
And what's the final thing?
They can say that I'm ready to go. Let's do something.
Appointment set. Right?
Correct.
When you have your appointment set, what happens?
When I set up an appointment, I set up a follow-up for confirmation. So I might send them like a calendar invite.
Okay. Let's not go into too many details right now.
Okay.
What happens to that appointment? What happened?
What
would happen next?
they turn into a client.
You're skipping a few steps, but you got to meet them first.
Okay.
Met or unmet. If it's unmet, what's going to happen? You're going to go back to your follow-ups, right?
If it's unmet, correct?
Mm-hmm. Okay. When you meet with them and they're met, you get them contracted or you earn the business. So committed. After committed,
Sure.
hopefully it goes to pending.
Okay.
After pending, it goes to what?
Closing.
Closed. And then after that, finally, it is a past client.
Gotcha.
Make sense?
Yep.
Okay, let's go back up here now, though. All right, so when we're looking at this real quick, also, let's talk now, not interested or your follow-ups. Your follow-ups can lead to an appointment set. And it can lead to not interested leads.
Okay.
Any questions about the basics of that?
I would say for my own self, clarity is not interested right now or just not interested at all.
That is up for you to use your discretion.
Gotcha.
Not interested right now would be follow-ups. Not interested ever would for sure be not interested over here.
Gotcha. All right.
Okay, let's talk about how we organize all of our not interested leads. How do we organize them? So, oops. Everybody that's in here, they're organized into 3 places, 3 different types of not interested leads. What are they?
This is gonna get tough right here. Not interested. Like basically like stop calling me. Do not call. Is that what you mean?
Nope.
Archive.
uh,
I'm just throwing them on the wall right now.
You're getting closer. I'll throw you a bone. One is, or number 3 would be trash.
Yes, there you go. Junk. Here, let me look at my chime real quick. Okay, trash.
Okay. In Sierra, we call it blocked.
Yep.
Same thing. Okay. Number
Wait.
2.
I thought of trash as a junk, like it's a junk contact information.
Yep. Don't want to do that. Okay. We'll talk about this in a moment. Number 2 is junk. So we're gonna, or in Sierra, it's junk. I call it compost. We'll talk about why in a moment. And up top, I call it recycle. Over here, it's in Sierra, it's called archive. Okay.
Okay.
You have no idea what those 3 things are.
The block, junk, and archive is kind of what, this is the terminology probably that I'm used to seeing the most.
Cool. Let's talk about the difference here.
Blocked is like, hey, stop contacting me type deal?
No.
Okay.
Here's your new definition for blocked. You would never, ever, 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 ever chase them again. No matter what.
Okay.
Okay. So if somebody says, don't ever call me again, I fucking hate your guts. Would you block
Right.
them? Probably.
Gotcha.
Never ever chase again. Junk are leads that you don't put on automation, like a non-interested plan. Don't put on automation.
Gotcha.
And don't chase anymore. The only time you're ever going to rechase that person is if they came back to your website or something.
Gotcha.
Okay, so that's pretty rare. Both of those are pretty rare. Recycled are on auto plan, no chasing. This is where most people are going to go on archive.
Gotcha.
I just bought a house and not doing anything, put them on archive. So what it really comes down to is this archive you would chase. You're actively chasing using auto plan,
Gotcha.
but you're not doing anything. You're not calling, you're not doing any of that.
Unless they give you reason to.
Correct. Yep. And in that case, actually, on the thing, you probably remember here that if someone is here, it can go back to here if there's a priority alert. They re-register, they come back to the website, they're looking at a lot of homes.
Gotcha.
Okay. Junk, we don't put an auto plan and we don't chase. We would only ever do anything if they ever come back to the website.
Gotcha. And auto plan in your definition in your world is basically a combination of both automated, like the AI, and also the follow plan with emails and text messages?
Yeah, for us, I would say it would be our text messaging. It outperforms the AI.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Okay.
So archive, junk, and blocked. Most 90+% of your non-interesteds will go here, 5% here, 5% here. Rough numbers.
In Chime, when it comes to this specific topic, is it best to use groups, a pond, or just tag them?
I shy away from using ponds because almost always there's restrictions with ponds in CRMs.
Gotcha. I really don't use ponds either, but go ahead.
I would say you could either use like a status definition or a tag. In Sierra, these are statuses. So let me get up to show you quick.
So like in Chime, it's like a pipeline, like active, under contract, pending.
Yep. So if you wanted to add a pipeline, so
yeah, I know how to. Okay,
right here, there you go. This is kind of like your pipeline. So
gotcha.
Archive, junk, blocked.
Gotcha.
So whatever you'd want to go and do, you can do whatever, or you can just do it as a tag.
I think pipeline maybe. I don't want too many tags.
Yep, absolutely. You can totally do that.
Okay.
All right.
And you would, if you have team members that might end up fishing in there, and might be alert, you would unassign yourself from the profile, right? Like if it's me as the main person on it, I would unassign myself and just put it as a archive.
These are I would never do anything. I would never call either of these. I would only when you're like fucking desperate ever call these leads. Like you don't need to typically.
I gotcha. Or when you got somebody brand new and you want to put them in deep waters.
I would not put them here. What I would do is I would put them on the old LQ or HQs.
Gotcha.
Because again, these people basically said no. I would just say this would be the very, very last thing I would ever go and chase.
Gotcha.
It's just you're gonna get so little fruit from it.
Okay.
All right. Any questions on non-interesteds?
Do any of these apply for people who said, hey, I've already purchased a home?
Yes, archive.
Okay.
Almost always archive, and then we have a not interested plan. So I just bought a home. Cool. Archive, not interested. Vast majority of the time.
Gotcha.
What are the questions?
That's it, I think, for now on that.
Okay. All right, let's go to follow-ups. How do we organize all of our follow-ups?
You're asking me or you're going to tell me?
I'm asking you, yep.
A, B, C, and D.
Good work. What's the difference?
A is, well, you can make, in the videos you said you can make whatever you want, but for the most part, A is under 30 days. B is 30 to 90. C is 90 to 100. What is it? 180.
Here's what I want you to do is I want you to delete that out of your mind.
Okay.
Okay. I no longer put that. I should go delete that video at some point. And here's why. what really matters with ABCD is you're prioritizing your follow-ups, A, B, C, or D.
Okay.
So what it really comes down to is you're essentially saying an A is a higher priority than a B, B than a C, C or a D.
Gotcha. So you're not putting any kind of like timeline on them?
Correct.
Okay.
Right. So for example, high school principal who is not buying until June of next year, based off of the numbers that you just gave, they would be a what?
A D.
But a high school principal who's buying next year, that's a really good opportunity. Is that really a D? No. So you choose based off the priority of the lead, whether it's an A, B, C, or D. Okay, that's the first rule. Second rule is, let me ask you this. When do you follow up with an A lead for the very first time?
When do I follow up with them?
Yep.
Depends on how our conversation went.
Keep going.
In terms of what specifically did it tell me about the timeline? So
let's say that I want to buy, I'm a high school principal and I'm 100% sure buying, I'm actually selling my place and downsizing. Don't want to do it until next year. When are you going to follow up with me?
Probably 3 months before that.
Okay. So January of next year?
Yeah.
Perfect. Good. In other words, your first follow-up date is whenever the fuck you want.
Correct.
Right? Okay. Let's say you follow up January 1st with an A lead. When do you follow up with them again if they don't answer?
Probably would say if it's an A lead, I'm probably treating it like 2 to 3 days later.
3 days later. B lead. If you follow up with a B lead and they don't answer, when do you follow up again? If they don't answer,
I'd say once every 10 days.
7 days is what we do.
Okay.
C's 30.
Yeah.
D's 60.
So that's the definition right here for the most part.
This only applies to your first follow-up date you choose, and if it fails, then it's 3 days later, 3 days later, 3 days later, or 7 days later. In other words, this person's every 3 days, right? We're putting in 10 times more effort into our A's and our C follow-ups, right?
Okay.
Putting 20 times more effort and 2 times more effort compared to our B's. You see how that system saves you time?
Yeah.
Here's the biggest problem. The problem with follow-up is scale. The problem with follow-up is if you have so many D's, you should never give a shit that become past due. What this allows you to do is if your D's become past due, who gives a shit? They don't really matter much. Your A's, though, really important that you get these bad boys done.
So when you're categorizing them, obviously it's going to be important to set up a follow-up date. So if the principal said, hey, I'm selling next year, and I'm going to say, well, cool, we're in May. I'm going to do a follow-up date for January 1st or 2nd.
And tag it as an A lead. And then follow
tag
up
it as A at that time. Gotcha.
Follow up January 2nd. And if they don't answer, follow up on January 5th.
And would you still inactivate some kind of automated follow-up on that?
Up to you if you want to. We have a nurture assist plan that we've created that kind of just reaches out and just as a soft check-in, like, hey, Jose, I know you weren't ready to make a move quite yet. Just wanted to see if your plans have changed at all.
Gotcha.
Not necessary for short-term stuff. It's up to you if you want to do it for the longer-term stuff.
Yeah, I would probably, my first train of thought is, because I don't like to miss anything. So, I would want to probably activate something working on my behalf.
Yeah, absolutely do it.
Because you never know if their scenario changed,
Exactly. And there's a balance here between over following up. Because if you reach out, like some people, the reason I quit doing the whole 0 to 30 thing is some people then were like, the high school principal is a D. I'm like, no, fuck off. No, it's not. That's an A opportunity. The other thing that can be very dangerous is your first follow-up date is always picked by you. Some people heard this as, oh, every 0 to 30, I want to reach out every 3 days, every 3 days. So they'd be reaching out to the high school principal who was a D. They'd be reaching out to that person every 60 days. But should you be reaching out to them at all right now? And here's the reason you don't want to do that is, well, when do you move it from a D to a C and a C to a B? You don't do it. That's silly. Rather, you just do what you're doing. You pick the follow-up date, you assign the priority A, B, C, or D, you choose the follow-up date, follow up January 1st. If they don't respond, follow up 3 days later.
So the letters is more based on how you discern their intent, or their true intent of like, this is really going to sell. So I want to keep in touch with this dude, even if it's until next year.
This is all priority. Priority is based off of quality. So let's say you're talking to a college student who's a sophomore, who's like, I might stick around town. I might do something. Give me a call back in 6 months. That's a really great example of probably a C or a D compared to the high school principal who's an A.
Gotcha.
Right? So quality really determines priority. ABCD establishes priority. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it does. I'm just trying to taking that principle, that example of the principle, like if we're in May, even if I've set my follow-up date for January, like I want to start checking in with the dude around October, November as like soft check, just checking in. How you doing?
And like, if you wanted to, dude, so again, you could just do your follow-up November. You get to choose that. That's completely up to you. I'm not choosing January. You get to choose. What I will say is it makes no fucking sense for you to reach out before October, November. None at all. Gotcha. And what I saw happen was some people were like, I'm going to reach out every 3 days. I'm like, this high school principal is going to want to murder you. I'd murder you. So, spot on. You get to use it. You get to choose. That first follow-up date is chosen by you.
Okay.
Any other questions on this?
Does any of this somehow does it translate anything to like your sphere, like your past clients? Like, even if they're not intently doing anything or saying anything to you, but you're just keeping in touch.
So I think you can move people from your PCSOI into your follow-ups and use the same mechanism.
Okay.
I would probably just do that. Your PCSOI would go in and you just add them to your follow-ups.
I feel like my first thought process is like the people who have been big supporters of the business with referrals, et cetera, who've done multiple transactions. I feel like I would want to categorize them as an A and then just set the follow-up dates as I need to follow up with them,
Yep. Really, the whole point of this is just reminding yourself to do something in a system that helps you prioritize some activities over others.
All right.
Spot on. Final thing is if you reach out to an A 4 times and no success, I would downgrade it to a B.
Gotcha. And then we're talking about phone attempts.
Phone attempts, correct. So you're calling every 3 days. That means over 12 days, you called 4 times. So that's 4 attempts right there. Then you've probably shot a text, left a voicemail, maybe even email. So you've really potentially reached out 16 times and you've heard nothing. Is that really an A lead anymore? No. So that's when we downgrade it to a B. You can do the same thing. And if you want to downgrade it out completely, you can. Where would we downgrade it to if you do all this, you never hear anything from anyone? Where do you take it and where do you put it?
I don't know. Do we put it in? Do you consider it a low quality?
Nope. Archive.
Archive it. All right.
Dude, you've been treating like high quality, heard nothing. Go put it in archive and put them on an auto plan and let it ride.
Gotcha. Because their intent diminished, so I guess I'm still holding on.
Yeah, this is where people go wrong. Is you're just trying to squeeze water from a rock.
Yeah.
And at that point, if somebody's behavior 16 times, you've done this, and then you moved it, let's just say you move it from an A to a B. So A to B, B to C, or maybe even B out. That's 32 attempts, up to 32 attempts. Is that worth chasing?
Yeah.
I don't think so. This person's ghosting you at that point. So I would say stop wasting your time and not move it to not interested. Be done with it.
Gotcha.
All right. Any other questions on follow-ups?
If you do change it from A to B, now I'm sorry if you've already kind of answered this. If you do downgrade it from A to B, in the automated plans, do you change anything typically?
You wouldn't change any of the automated plans because that's just, those automated plans probably aren't even touching it at that point. Because all that automated plan is doing is reaching out every like 60 to 90 days.
I got you.
That whole, hey, just want to see if your plans have changed at all.
Gotcha.
Basically, this is reminding yourself to do manual work.
Gotcha.
In Sierra, we do have additional, so follow-ups. We have an additional one called F, and we use fully automated plans to do the follow-up for you. I can't remember if we have those in Chime or not. But those basically do the follow-up for you, and you just put them on like a 1, 2, 3, 6, 9, 12, 18, 24 month plan. So that's something you could consider. One more thing, we have AT. I'd write this down, active text. These are for any leads that have responded to automated plans. You just don't know where to put them yet. So they go on AT, and they also go on an active text plan that nudges you every day for, I think, 3 days, and then every 2 days for 3 days, every 3 days for 3 days, and then it takes you off the plan. The whole point of it is it's just reminding you to look at the lead, because the biggest problem with texting leads, of course, is you send them a text, they forget to respond, you forget about them, they're dead. When a lot of times what you get to do is just simply look at it because they forgot to respond. You got to nudge them and nudge it to the top of their inbox.
So this is an active text tag.
So let me just show you what we do in Sierra, and then you can translate it. All right, so over here, actually, let me log into this one. We'll show it a little bit better. See if I get that right the first time. Oh, I'm so proud of myself. All right, so here's the action plan. So it's just reminding us to check in with the lead. So it's actually more 1 days. It's 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3. But basically, it's a plan, and this is what it looks like. It's this follow-up plan, active text, and all it's doing is reminding us to look at the lead. And then there's a tag as well called active text follow-up. So it'd be on both.
Gotcha.
What we do, the whole point of putting it on the tag is we then also have a filter here that shows us all of our active text follow-ups.
Gotcha.
And then you can sort this by your task due oldest. So if like I had active text, obviously this is my coaching account, so I don't have any.
Okay.
All right. What other questions you got?
Let me look at my Chime real quick.
Yep, you're good.
Is there, what do you find with what some of the agents struggle with in understanding how to keep this optimized based on what we're talking about?
So I think every team is a little bit different, but I think people need to understand it in terms of theory. And then what you have to do is when you have new people coming in, I would test them and literally say, hey, a new lead came in, kind of like I did to you.
Gotcha.
What happens next? Then walk through this. Then you throw a scenario of I have a doctor who is retiring May of next year. They don't even want to think about moving until after the new year. They don't want to have any conversations. How would you categorize that follow-up, and when are you going to follow up? So you almost want to like test them, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
You also want to spot check. The spot check for us in Sierra, I would go in and I'd spot check the filters. I'd spot check their inbox to see how many things are sitting there.
Gotcha.
These are all, of course, fake. So like if I were to go audit one of my ISAs, we can go do this right now. Let's go put somebody on the hot seat. All right, so here it is right there. I can go in and look, and this looks good. This is normal. Like a few in here is not a big deal. I don't ever use this. It doesn't matter. What matters is just a follow-ups. That's all I really care about. And he's in manager view. I have to go down to his. And I just want to make sure where I get nervous if I see like, I gotta go have a conversation with them about these. What it should look like is for us, it should look like this. Like this wouldn't concern me at all. These are just check leads actually. So it's just appointment set. But still, that's what I'd go in when I audit. That's what I'm looking for is how many past due things are there. A's, essentially, I'm like, you should have never. B's, you can have a little more leeway. C's and D's, I don't even give a shit about.